God bless you guys. How are you doing? I just want to give you an update on what's going on. God bless all of you, all the Christians out there. What's going on with Hunter Biden? What's going on with as far as Israel goes? There's the hostages. I believe it was 4 hostages. Yeah, 4 hostages were released. It was, I believe, 3 guys and 1 woman, and they were released in the part of southern Gaza. And Israel was able to go through there and find them and release them and rescue them, and praise the Lord for that, for the hostages being released. I know Netanyahu met with them individually yesterday and hugged every one of them, and it was a tearful moment for the families and so forth. And God bless them for that. I mean, these Muslims, they're filthy wicked and they're filthy evil, and they'll all burn in hell because of it. They'll burn in a lake of fire because of it. Unfortunately, because of what's going on with Israel right now, they're continually moving in Rapture. We know the rapture is going to happen October 2nd. Why? I give you a lot of details in most of my videos. Feel free to watch it. I don't want to get into it too much right now, but the generation's passing away. We know that the end times are here. We know the mark of the beast is around the corner here. Everything's ready to go. This Psalm 83 war, Israel, will continue to drive in Rafah, and from Rafah, they're going to go into Hezbollah. Hezbollah's been firing like crazy. 1,000 acres in the northern Israel have been burning because Hezbollah's fired so many missiles from Lebanon. Lebanon is just to the north of Israel. That's the part where the 100,000 people in Israel have had to move south. And the reason why they've had to move south, because the missiles just keep coming over. They've destroyed their homes. So you've got literally almost 100,000 people living in motels and tents, and then southern Israel trying to figure out, asking Netanyahu, when am I going to go home? You know, so Israel's been obsessed with trying to get the hostages. They've got 4 more that were discovered from the Muslims, from Hamas. And so Hezbollah has those 180,000 missiles, and they're starting to aggravate this war by firing and firing. You know, the Biden administration, a lot of people are like, well, just finish off with Hamas and then you're done with the war. But it's not really that reality, because Israel's been vowed, Netanyahu vowed from the beginning. What about Iran, right? Iran fired 350 missiles. Iran has built the nuclear enrichment, right? They have that huge nuclear reactor underground, that big, massive reactor that costs billions of dollars, that Biden the Antichrist himself, funded while he was president of the United States, gave billions to. A wicked man he is. And so as a result, Iran literally built that reactor from the billions of dollars that came to them from American taxpayer dollars by Biden. And so as a result, they have the uranium enrichment, they have it, they fire that missile off, and they were able to send 350 missiles and reach all the way to Israel. So Israel still has to deal with Iran. I believe when they nuke that Iranian reactor, which will happen right around October 2nd, the rapture will occur immediately, and the weapons will burn for 7 years, because that'll be radiation burning around the world for 7 years. It's a huge nuclear reactor. It's like dropping a nuclear bomb on the country. And as a result, you can see that's going on. So Israel continuing moving into Rafah, continually trying to get their hostages. The families are demanding that their hostages be free. They're demanding that. And they're also just demanding that they go back to northern Israel. They just want to go back home. Their children are living in tents. They're living in motels. And they want to go back to northern Israel. They can't do that with Hezbollah continues to fire from Lebanon and to the north of Israel, and continues to fire upon Israel on the northern part of Israel over and over again, firing missiles and rockets continuously. It's like over 1,000 missiles are fired in just the last month alone, as you can see. So that's just been real difficult for Israel. So Israel's doing that, trying to get their hostages, trying to finish Hamas in Gaza, and then deal with Hezbollah, who continually aggravates them, and then go from there and deal with, as they call it, the head of the snake, which Netanyahu promised when October 7th happened and they butchered 1,400 people. Then they want to go into Iran and send planes over the middle of the night and nuke the Iranian reactor, which the radiation would go off, and at that point the rapture would occur. And as you can see, that's kind of what's going on with the Israeli war. And then we see what Hunter Biden's going on. Hunter Biden's had his ex-wife of 20 years. He's had his ex-girlfriend. She's going on the stand today. His whole book has just basically been a autobiography of him admitting that he's a crackhead and a drug addict, and just a worthless human being. Lies, cheats, and steals. And he's been doing crack the whole time. So it's real easy for a jury to indict him, because the whole point is, when he got the gun, when he purchased the gun, was he on drugs? Was he addicted to drugs? Well, he admits in his book he was a drug addict, and his ex-wife admits that she saw crack pipes all over the place, even on the day that he went into a gun shop and bought a gun. So, and then threw the gun away later, and then tried to admit that it wasn't his gun, and so forth. And they found cocaine residue within the bag of the gun itself, in the compartment with the gun. So they're trying to give him 25 years. Why are they trying to do this? Because they want to put pressure on him. And September 23rd, that once they've got this pressure and him going to prison now, Joe Biden, of course, can pardon him, which he will. He claims he won't, but it's a lie. He will. But the whole idea is September 23rd, they want to try him. Right before the rapture, they want to try him again for being on the energy board of China and collecting millions of dollars and then funneling it to his dad, Joe Biden. All this is proof. They've got evidence of everything. This, a lot of left-wing socialists admit that, oh, this is all conspiracy. No, it's actually true, and the facts are tons of documents. I mean, if you don't think this country is going, if you don't think America is wicked, the Department of Justice is absolutely wicked. The FBI, Ray is absolutely corrupt through and through. Just watch some of the congressional hearings where he refuses to give up paperwork. He denies anything that happened. It's a coincidence, according to him, that everything that Trump's done, Trump's been prosecuted, almost arrested, went out in Mar-a-Lago, went to his home, raided his home, but nothing's happened to Biden. Biden was a senator and got documents which illegally from the White House and took him home, and nothing's happened ever since then. And, Hillary Clinton she had bleached out her computers. She hid her phones, threw phones away, all kinds of top secret information. I mean, the Clintons started out when they were in the White House, they were worth only about $1 million. Within the entire time, by the time they left the White House, they're worth $100 million. To go from 1 million to 100 million, gosh, how did that happen? They're absolutely corrupt. And as a result, but they've never been prosecuted for any of their crimes, so much evidence. And then so they made up all these cases against Trump over the years. They've made up everything they can, the Democrats, to try and stop him from running. Why do they hate him so much? What's the hatred about Trump about? The hatred about Trump is about because Trump's trying to turn everything around. He's trying to turn America around. When he was in office, these wars didn't exist. This war with Israel and Iran didn't exist. This war with Russia, Ukraine didn't exist. He stopped all of that. It did not exist. He stopped all these wars. China was going to go into Taiwan during the Trump years. He stopped it. He made it very clear, if you go in, we will attack you. I mean, the reason why China and Russia are afraid of America is because we have supersonic planes. That's one thing. But what's really going on is we have the technology to get through the radar. So, for instance, when Israel's got our technology because we've given it to them. So when Israel went over to attack Iran after they fired off the 350 missiles a month or so ago, when they did that, they flew over they were going to hit the nuclear reactor. But I knew it was a Rapture stall because Biden begged him not to. But how were they able to fly over and Iran never detected him on the radar? They never detected him all on the radar. They said they saw little birds on the radar, but these were actually F-35 jets that fueled up and went all the way over there. And that's because our radar is so advanced. And if your radar is advanced, you can fly over any country like China. We could fly over China right now, or Russia. They wouldn't even know we were there. They would see maybe a bird on the radar. In fact, it's multiple F-35 jets ready to drop nukes on you, take you out. So, and that's the whole technology of every country, especially ours, is radar deflecting planes that can fly through your technology, which means if you have air superiority, then you can pretty much control the country. And when we attacked Iraq back in the day, we had like 1,000 planes in the air. The whole ground was shaking. We had so many planes. So that's what's going on right now. Israel will soon nuke the Iranian reactor. I believe that'll happen October 2nd, right around the rapture. Everything's leading to the pressure of Hunter Biden and Joe Biden, which means he'll step down. And then William Branham's prophecy in 1933 was, he said he saw a black woman that was president. The president had stepped down. Kamala Harris would become president. He saw that in 1933. A black woman became president. And when that happened, he heard an explosion. When he looked, he turned and he saw America absolutely wiped out and destroyed. It was barren. The meteors that God sent down, like when God destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, he sent meteors. Well, these meteors would come upon America and wiped out America. It was broken in half and dropped in the ocean. And I'm mad for that. I mean, America is just so corrupt. The Department of Justice is corrupt. The FBI is corrupt. Garland Merrick, who's our Attorney General for the United States, so corrupt. I mean, he's orchestrated everything and allowed everything to come against Trump and nothing to come against Biden. I mean, is there justice or not? I mean, Department Ray of the FBI, what a corrupt individual he has. I don't know why Trump appointed him. This guy is filthy corrupt. This is the guy that led the investigation to go into Trump's home in Mar-a-Lago, pretend to not even be FBI agents, hide their badges, hoping that Trump would be there so they could murder him. The orders were to use necessary force to kill him. And now with this trial with Trump, there's going to be a mistrial. Judge Juan Marchand, who's an illegal Colombian, Michael Bloomberg, the ex-mayor of New York, who's a complete communist, a white guy that hated his own skin color, and he put this illegal Colombian. What is a Colombian doing in a judge in America? I just want to know. My gosh. Anyway, this guy, this judge, who ran a crooked, I mean, the court trial was absolutely crooked. They didn't serve any due process for Trump. He never got due process. He was limited on how many witnesses he could bring on the stand. He wasn't even allowed, his attorneys were not even allowed to question other witnesses. I mean, it just went on. 34 charges. He didn't know what crime he was being accused for. And then, of course, you have these minority people that were in New York that are just ghetto trash. And they hate Trump. They don't know. You ask people why they hate Trump, they can't tell you. I'm like, well, explain to you why you hate him so bad. And, of course, they were bragging on the website, the court website, about his cousin. Hey, his cousin said, man, we got Trump now, right? Stupid fools. They feed right into the beast system. They'll all be, when America is destroyed, they'll all be destroyed with it, and they'll drop right into a lake of fire. 100% will drop into flames. America will be destroyed. The Christians will go up October 2nd, right on the next Feast of Trumpets, the next feast to be fulfilled before the 80-year generation expires. Israel will be 76 and a half. At that point, Israel's gonna nuke Iran reactor. Russia will nuke Poland, and I believe China's gonna take over Taiwan. The way it's going, and we'll be raptured out of here, and then they can have America. All the illegals and all the people that are racist and hate America, hate Christians and hate Jews, they can stay here, because America is going to be decimated by meteors and earthquakes and drop into the ocean. It's going to break in half. The San Andreas Fault that goes right through California and right up the West Coast will break, and all the faults that are in the middle will break, and that'll be it. Why? Because America is a corrupt country. If you have an election that's corrupt and you have a judicial system that's corrupt, then your country's corrupt. We're just the same as all the rest of the countries out there. Filthy, filthy corrupt. They don't serve Jesus, you know. All these people coming in from the border from Mexico and all that, the whole country is corrupt. I mean, look at Mexico. Their country is absolutely corrupt. They lie, they cheat. All the Mexicans and the South Americans, they lie, they cheat and steal. Every last one of them. They all cheat and they all steal. Then they come to America, and what do? They fill up our prisons. All their prisons are filled up with majority black and Mexican. Why is that? Why do so many of these minorities lie, cheat, and steal? Because they don't follow the word of God. They don't obey the word of God. It's not based on skin color. It's based on whether you serve Jesus or you don't serve Jesus. Because if you don't, you'll end up in hell. You'll die for your own sins. You either live a life that you don't lie, you don't cheat, and you don't steal. Because Jesus made it clear in the book of Revelation, all liars end up in hell. And let me tell you, hell's a place that's a burning fire. You burn for eternity. You never leave hell. Once you go into the gates of hell, and this guy, when he was visiting hell one time, the Lord had taken him to hell on his operating table, and the Lord showed him hell, and he said it was like millions of miles, and it was cells. Old cells have been there for thousands of years, because people have been in hell that long, and just being tortured, being burned